noise in the background. But I am going to talk about what I've been watching and what I've been reading lately. So, but before that, we will do some housekeeping. If you're new here, welcome to my nonsense. Please consider hitting subscribe. If you're old here, welcome back, OGs. Double check to make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like if you like. Leave a comment. It can be just a hello, or it can be something related to the video. Anything as long as it's nice. And as always, I will link my tip jars in the description. No pressure whatsoever, but it's there, and anything is appreciated, and it does help a lot. Okay, so I'll start with what I'm reading right now. I'm reading one book right now, which is kind of rare for me, but it's good. It is called The Yards. The Yards. I don't have the author with me right now, but the description, I'll describe it, and then if you want to know, leave a comment, and I will go find my Kindle at some point, and I can let you know. But it is about, it must have been written within the last, year or so, because it's about, there's a lot of, post-COVID comments, post-pandemic stuff in there, so, it's about a woman who's from, a beat-down town in the Bible Belt, and she makes a living as a nurse, but she wants to be a more qualified nurse. She wants to be an RN because the level of nursing that she's at right now, it's not paying the bills. She also is a single mother. She has a small daughter, so she has to take another job at night to make up the difference and pay more bills. She lives on her own, but she did have a mom come live with her to help babysit and stuff. So I guess that's one privilege she has. But she is struggling, and so when she gets a full night off once every, I think, month or so, she goes out, and she doesn't want a boyfriend, so she goes and does these hookups, one night stands. That's all she has time for. That's all she's interested. She's not using anybody. Nobody's using her. They know the deal. They make it clear. She goes to the bar, and she just is okay, let's go. And she goes and she does her one night stands, and then she goes back to her real life. So that's been working for her for some amount of time. But as the story opens, she's getting ready for a night out, and she's getting herself all put together, all cute. She's got, it's in the Bible Belt, so she's got this green dress on. I think she's got cowboy boots on and a hat. And she picks her bar of the night. So she goes in, she's looking good, and she looks around and she's like, I wonder, who's interested or whatever. And one guy talks to her, and she's like, yeah, this guy is probably into more serious things, so I won't waste his time. And then she ends up eyeing another guy, and then I think his name is Brad, and they go meet outside, and she's like, so do you want to go mess around, hook up? And she follows him to his hotel, even though he does live in this town. For some reason, he's at a hotel. She's like, well, maybe he just, who knows? He didn't go get a hotel that night. He already had a hotel, okay? So she's driving, and she follows him to the hotel. And they both go inside, and he's kind of rude in there. They mess around, and then he goes, okay, he gets out his wallet, and he puts $60 on the bed or somewhere. There you go. And she's like, we didn't talk about that. This literally wasn't that. There's one line she has in the book where she's like, the difference between me and WHO, is that something about, not getting paid. She goes, which means I can be a little more picky, but not that much. So, she's like, wow, she almost wants to cry just like, what do I do? What do I do? And that's all you really get of that part. And then it goes to like a detective's point of view, a female detective's point of view, who gets called to this case the next day. They had found his body with a wound, okay, and he was deceased. So they start doing the detective work, and because it's a small town, the evidence is already kind of botched because they drove all over the place, and there was a bunch of people, like, they don't really get crimes like this, so they didn't treat it right. Anyways, so she's like, oh, get these doofuses off this stuff so I can investigate, like, all the cops and stuff. She's like, get out of here, get out of here. So they try to gather what they can. So they have a few suspects in mind. At this point, none of the suspects are her, but they're like, okay, well, was he like a womanizer? Maybe we should try to find out if he was like hitting on anybody at any of the bars. That's where I'm at right now. So it's getting really good. I think it's going to be a really good book. It's called The Yards. And it's funny because it makes mentions of like other towns. Like she's trying to get a job in Chicago, and then like the detective is like, I think they're both trying to get jobs. The main character and the detective are both like trying to get out of the town, like to do bigger, better things. Anyways, that is what I'm reading right now, The Yards. And then what I'm watching right now, Ginny and Georgia. I just finished season 2 of Ginny and Georgia, and it was good. It's a pretty good show. It's a little soapy, it's a little cheesy, but there's enough going on where you like want to keep watching it. It should come with trigger warnings for teens because there is a lot. There's substance issues, there's self-harm, there's a lot going on there, and I think that at times when I'm watching the show, I'm like, I wish they'd be more careful with this because it can be so triggering. And some of the stuff that they're doing self-harm wise, I'm like, I don't know if teens should be put in the position to watch their triggers like that on TV. And I know I'm just being an old lady and I'm just being sensitive or whatever, but I think that they can do the show without getting specific, and showing specific things. I feel the same way about the teens getting it on, like Euphoria and this show. Like, I don't want to see, I know they might not be real teenagers, but they're acting like teenagers. I don't want to see their steamy scenes. I think that's weird. I think that's creepy. And I don't think it's necessary for the show. Like, can't you just show them start to like kiss and then we know and then we can move on? I don't get it. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of like that with a lot of shows too. Anyways, I'm just like, what is this bringing to the show? Move it along, Let me know what you've been watching. If